Hi, everyone. Good morning. Nice to see so many lovely smiling faces at me. I have your attention because it's the morning, so I'm very grateful for that. 2 out of 3 people in the world struggle with effective communication. And in sales, that struggle has real consequences. Deals are lost because sellers hesitate. Negotiations stall because reps don't have the confidence to push back. And new hires can sometimes take months, if not years, to ramp up because coaching is maybe ineffective or doesn't scale or is inconsistent with what's being taught at that moment. We've all been there before, practicing in front of a mirror the night before a big pitch, second guessing our words, stumbling over our objections. Am I being too passive? Am I being too aggressive? Am I leaving money on the table? I've been in that position many times before, losing confidence in the boardroom, trying to bounce back from being talked over, and seeing my talented colleagues, many of whom are from underrepresented minorities or backgrounds, have ideas but don't quite have the confidence or the training to properly articulate them. It's this frustration that led me to start Yoodli. My name is Esha, and I co-founded Yoodli to help people, particularly women and other underrepresented minorities, become more confident communicators. And we do this using AI roleplays. You can think of us as the Grammarly for speech. Now, what if we, as GTM leaders, could provide our sellers, learners, managers, and leaders more broadly with private, real-time, and judgment-free feedback without disrupting them from their workflow, right? So imagine this, a colleague who pings you on Zoom saying, hey, Esha, we can't hear you, speak up. Or somebody who nudges you and says, Esha, you're talking way too fast, you're talking over your prospect, you're missing buying signals, relax. Or maybe a tool for your managers so that they can become more effective coaches without the bias, without the guest frameworks or anything. I believe that this is possible through AI roleplays, and in the past I would say that is the future. Now I say we are here and that future is changing right in front of our eyes. And so to the person back there who talked about AI change enablement, happy to discuss this with you because we feel it too, and we feel a lot of our friends in enablement and our friends in L&D are feeling this too, and I'm excited to talk to you about how roleplays are transforming sales coaching, leadership development, and really any kind of employee up-leveling. I want to talk a little bit about the challenge first. So we know that sales training is a multi-billion-dollar industry. But does it work? Does it stick? So we've done a lot of research internally and also with our friends in the space, and the research is clear. Number one, sales coaching is deprioritized. Managers don't have time, and many of them haven't been trained to be effective coaches. Number two is bias affects coaching. So managers, even the best sellers who carried a bag, will still bring their unconscious bias into the feedback they give in one-on-one human role plays. And third, reps don't practice enough. If reps aren't been giving enough time to practice, then what will end up happening, and we see this, is they will practice their talking points on a real-life sales call. So all of the work your marketing team did, demand gen, to bring in those leads could just go poof like that because a seller is unprepared with the latest talking points. When companies don't invest in structured and ongoing training, we have seen big prices be paid. So number one is 56% longer sales cycles. Number two, and I'm just going to read off of this because I don't want to miss these quotes or these stats. Number two is 3.3x lower quota attainment than companies that use AI-driven sales coaching. And the third is higher rep churn, because people don't stick around when they don't feel set up for success. The solution, I believe, is through AI roleplays. And with roleplays, your team can do 3 things. The first is practice anytime, anywhere. Roleplays, AI roleplays are 24/7, on demand, always accessible, beyond sales kickoffs and one-on-ones. And especially now, since many of us, I'm assuming, have gone through sales kickoff, we might be thinking, how do we reinforce the training post-go? The second is get personalized and instant feedback. So reps can improve in real time, and they can get tailored coaching based on where they struggle personally, but also the competencies that they need to improve upon over time. And the last is train this on real-world scenarios, handling objections, negotiations, and leadership moments. This is information from your CRM, information from your conversational intelligence tool that is recording your meetings, also from your LMS. You can funnel that into a system that boosts AI role plays to give them the most simulated real live world experience. Down below are a few logos that we're working with that are all using AI role plays, and I wanted to share just to give an example of how this is used in a matter of scale. So for example, number one, Google Cloud is using Yoodli to train 10,000 go-to-market sellers on a new sales coaching methodology as part of this year's sales kickoff. Sandler Sales has recently adopted Yoodli to help scale their training for 50,000 individuals that they work with on a yearly basis. And many of you may have worked with Sandler in the past to bring in at least the Sandler methodology into your workplaces. And last, Korn Ferry is using AI exec coaching through role plays for leadership development for many of their Fortune 500 clients. Now, why are these folks using AI? There's a scale piece, but also it's being used not to replace coaches, not to replace managers, but to amplify them and to make it easier for them to practice on their own without having to have webinars and weekly office hours where folks may not be paying attention, they're distracted by Slack, et cetera. We've all been there, we've all seen that. One analogy that I like to give here is TurboTax didn't replace accountants, it made their expertise more accessible to all. And that's how I think about role plays for coaching as well. I recently did this presentation and I didn't do a demo, and some folks said, well, I don't really understand what you mean by AI role plays. I know what a human role play is, but how does this actually work? So I decided I want to take a couple minutes and show you what this could look like so you have a sense. I'm going to click on this link and you'll be taken to Yoodli, where this is going to load. And you can think about this experience being embedded in your LMS or CRM, whereby, okay, now I have to increase. There we go. Okay, cool. You can think about this experience being embedded in your LMS or CRM, whereby using Yoodli is a natural inflow moment so that folks are not taking out of experience. And we know that's super important. Couple things here. The first is this role play I'm doing is called the SEC Austin Discovery with Enablement Leader, and my persona is Enablement Ernie. Enablement people are very friendly, but today I decided to make Ernie blunt, so we'll see how that goes. And down below is the set of rubrics. Now this is totally customizable. This is what your company is using, the competencies that you care about. For a discovery call, I've chosen a few like engage in small talk, actively listen, book a follow-up call, etc. For your sellers who are in the APAC region or LATAM, they can practice in Spanish, French, Japanese, Portuguese, German, Korean, Hindi, Mandarin Chinese. And we're really excited about this development because it's relatively new. But I'll go ahead and start. And hopefully you'll be able to hear this AI speak.
Hi there, I just stopped by your booth after my friend mentioned you might have something interesting. What's your product all about?
Hey Ernie, thank you so much for stopping by my booth. I am so excited to meet you at this conference. I am curious, like, what did you hear from out there and what are you hoping to learn about?
You know, honestly, I didn't hear too much. My friend just mentioned you had some interesting AI stuff for sales teams. We've got about 4 minutes before my next session though, so maybe give me the quick version.
Totally, Ernie. So now with Yoodli, which is what I work on, you can provide GTM training for your sellers, your customer success managers, even your coaches at scale. So really, it's easy to scale the coaching for hundreds, if not thousands of sellers without having to spend time on them with them one-on-one or have your managers spend a lot of their time week over week without getting much in return, because we've seen that's a case. Is that something that you've experienced or are experiencing with your team?
That's interesting timing, actually. Our sales team is growing pretty fast right now. We just launched a new AI product, and we're scaling up. Though we do already have a learning management system in place, how's yours different from the standard LMS platforms?
That is such a great question. So few LMS platforms may have these role plays. They may not be as interactive and even customized, but the good thing is we integrate with a lot of our LMS partners. So for example, at Adobe, we work with their LMS, and we are able to have their sellers come through Yoodli from their LMS, and they have a good time. Does that make sense to you? I'm almost done.
I see, but how hard is this to set up? My team is pretty swamped with the product launch already. I've got about 2 minutes before I need to head to my next session, by the way.
Hopefully you all get the gist. We've had folks that have like 15, 20-minute role plays with these like AI personas that can represent anyone from their buying committee. And then also, I have to be very grateful that this live demo worked, because you never know. But in this case, typically, I do not do a role play in front of a bunch of people. Typically, I'm doing this on my own. So this is truly private. It's judgment-free. And I have the option to go through this as many times as I want. So when you think about role plays and practice, we often compare that to that of a batting cage, right? You're doing it as many times as you need to feel comfortable before you actually get live into the arena and start doing a pitch in front of a prospect, a buyer, a customer, et cetera. Now when I'm done, I'm going to get an instant analysis and report on what I said, how I said it, with very specific areas of improvement per the rubric that my enablement leader customized. So first, you're going to see a transcript. It's got all of the objections from Ernie and myself. If you care about wanting to customize a part of your pitch, you can click on this little magic wand to rephrase concisely, and all of a sudden, you have a much more compelling component of your pitch. AI understood the context of the conversation, so it gave it a title. And then on the right-hand side, we're going to have the rubric. So this is a sample instance called Yoodli, which is why you're seeing Yoodli AI Coach. But you're going to see a few things. I didn't book a follow-up call. I engaged in small talk a little bit. For active listening, I got a 3 out of 5. That's interesting. If I click in, I'm going to see some in-depth insights on why I got that and how I could have done better to increase my score. Same with identifying pain points. Down below, you'll get personalized feedback. So it doesn't matter if you're a new seller or you're seasoned and you've done this a lot, there's always going to be personalized feedback for you based on where you are at your progression as a seller or learner. So strength, since your previous attempt, because I did practice this before, you've improved your engagement with the potential client by asking relevant questions and tailoring your responses more directly to their situation. Excellent. So here's my progression over time. Growth area, your explanation of what differentiates your product from an LMS was somewhat unclear. Very, very helpful, especially as I'm going to have to handle objections when I speak on calls. We've got some information on demeanor. I was friendly, but somewhat confident. Yikes. Conciseness, summary. You can also see at the top that we have this score, 40%. So Yoodli, as a system, is not giving the score, right? We are not, our philosophy is not to tell you if you're a good seller. We are using the scores and the metrics that you as enablement leaders set up, and that's how we're generating a score. I, as a learner, now can share this with my enablement manager. I can submit it to my program as part of my learning path, and or I could practice again. So that's just a run-through of what it means for a single seller to practice a role play on Yoodli that's customized to what they're doing. I am now going to pop back over to here. And if folks have questions on the demo, I absolutely want to answer them. I'll just get through one impact slide just to share with you all like sort of what we're seeing from the field. And then we can go into Q&A. So what is the business impact of all of this? Companies are investing in AI-powered coaching and role plays, Yoodli or other solutions, and what are they seeing? We're seeing that the results go far beyond sales. Number one, there's a 95% increase in sales productivity. There's a 118% increase in average profit per customer. a 3.3x growth in quota attainment, and a 30% improvement in employee engagement. This does not include the qualitative positive feedback we've gotten just around the experience of being able to practice and get feedback whenever you want in a judgment-free way. I wish I could have added a few anonymous quotes. And as I alluded to earlier, the role plays integrate directly into your LMS, CMS, or website, and so they help you, they scale without disrupting existing workflows, which is, I think, incredibly important because of the common question and objection we might get around like sales tools fatigue, which we understand is real. So what's next? We're already in this era of AI, and particularly AI role plays. In the next year or even few months, where do we see this sort of industry or category going? The first is inflow coaching, reps practicing inside their CRM, which is happening today, but now we'll have better funnels of information from your opportunities, your deals, your contacts, and even from your LMS and CMS. The second is hyper-personalized, so tailored coaching based on strengths and weaknesses over time, over a period of time, a year or 2 years. And the last is predictive insights, so identifying coaching gaps before they impact revenue. We're seeing a lot of this today, but there's opportunity for us to make it better, to really drive value and get some of those business impact metrics happening for you as well. Last I'll say is we have a booth outside. My colleague Ryan and I are here, and we'd love to chat with you about role play, change enablement in your organizations, and chat with you about what we're seeing. Feel free to email us at info@yoodli.ai if you have questions. We also have a webinar next week, and we'd love to invite you to join us there so you can learn more. Thanks so much.
All right, we have time for like 1 or 2 questions. Yeah, you got a lot.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
You mentioned earlier something about connecting with some of your tool, some of the company's tools. So like my company uses Kaya to like record their calls. Does Yoodli have a capability to, if it connects or to load an old Kaya call to like kind of review and give pointers on like a call you've already had? Or is it truly just what you put in as a role play call?
Yeah, great question. So Kaya, we don't have a direct integration with them, but we do have opportunities for sort of subtle integrations through like different engineering protocols that is way above my head. However, we do have a sort of an approach where you can also always upload Kaya recordings or Gong recordings into Yoodli to get that instant feedback.
It'll give you feedback on a post or
Exactly.
previous call.
Exactly, yeah. And we're working on that integration, those kinds of integrations. Yes?
Do you have an API, open API?
Not yet, but common request, TBD. Yeah, yes.
Do you use your call intelligence to train the AI so that it's servicing real objections that your reps are getting in real life calls? Like, does it use real intelligence to train the AI?
Yes, exactly. So kind of to this lady's question in front, like can we upload recordings from Gong, Kaya, whatever, Chorus into Yoodli? Yes, we can, and that'll kind of funnel the back end and make it much more intelligent for the reps to practice. Mm-hmm. Yes?
That's amazing, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
But how customizable is Ernie, our friend, in terms of like persona, personality, like how the subject comes across? Like, I'm curious, is this something that you can use to help coaches, leaders, coach your people?
Yes, I was going to quickly show you the ease of customizability, for personas. It's pretty simple. Like I'm now kind of in the admin side of things, and we've got a tab called Personas, and you can see we've got tons of different personas here that represent whomever. And right now, when you create a persona, you can add a job title, a company, a voice, so different types of voices from all around the world, a demeanor. You can add some information, even like an avatar photo, and soon we'll give you the ability to just like paste a LinkedIn URL of an actual buyer, and we'll be able to grab information to represent a persona. Yes?
So along those same lines, can you preload objections, like common objections?
Yes.
To that customer? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you both, the hands.
So I asked DeepSeek last night how long it would be before it takes my job. And it gave me 7 to 15 years, which is pretty good.
Oh.
But it encouraged me though, just to I want to boost my resume now and prepare myself for the future. It encouraged me to take on things like change management, strengthen my strategic thinking, creativity, a bunch of other things. But I'd be curious to get your take. How do we protect ourselves from this, what's about?
It's a great question. I said this earlier, and I do believe that this is still the case. A lot of the mundane tasks around like training the AI, collecting information from calls, coming up with insights as to what's important for a seller to practice, that can all be streamlined. I think it's still up to us to understand like what should we be focusing on. Like we can take all of the calls from Gong and Chorus, but to be honest, we'll probably see a lot of crap. Like what exactly is the most important stuff to be focusing on? And I think that critical thinking is can sort of be done by AI, but like the context of the market, the industry, the company, what's worked in the past, that historical knowledge, as well as seeing what's ahead of you, I don't think that can be replaced. And so I'm not DeepSeek. I'm not going to say 7 to 15 years. I have no idea. But I think hopefully that gives you some insight as to how I'm thinking about it. Yes?
Could I piggyback on questions that came already? So I have a two-person case study for Roleplay, where one is playing the sales rep, another is playing customer. The customer, prospect, whatever we call it, right? Would have a cheat sheet explaining who this person is, where they sit in the structure, what they're actually trying to achieve, how much budget they might have, how much more budget they might actually find. So it's not just the objections, but it's more about who this person is in the hierarchy and all the information that we want the other person playing the sales rep to discover in this conversation. So can I feel this, that case study into the log, right, and make the AI educated and basically play that person?
The short answer is yes. The long answer is please stop by our booth so we can show you exactly how to do that. but yes, I'm excited to talk to you about it.
Well, objections is one piece, right? But it's
Yeah.
more like, can it play the real prospect for me where I can practice with the person who is in this particular industry, with these particular pain points, with this particular budget constraints.
Yeah, totally. I mentioned about the Google Cloud use case earlier. We, as part of SCO, we created 4 different role plays around why should you change across 4 different industries, and we loaded a bunch of market information, and those were sort of 4 underlying role plays. And then as a seller, my job was to create my own deck based on my account. So I, as a seller, could actually practice those role plays, but then superimpose my own deck on top of that. So now you have the AI bot that takes in information from enablement, and it takes in information from the seller, and it uses that to customize a real world experience. And so it's simple to get started. It is a new skill, in my opinion, but it's simple to do. Cool. Yes?
Yeah, I work for Google, we work for Yoodli, so very happy client here. It's been wonderful to talk to you. So just to add to that, what we do is we ask our sellers, once they practice with Yoodli, to upload their recording and send it to their managers. So we do do a little coaching on to take the feedback that we get from Yoodli, which is fantastic, but then also arm our managers with the information they need to then coach their sellers more effectively over time.
Thanks so much for sharing, Lauren. Yeah, please talk to Lauren. How much time do we have for questions?
5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. Oh, great. Yes, go ahead.
Hey, so I don't know about everyone else in the room, but my LinkedIn inbox and email box have been inundated in the last 2 quarters, I would say, with a lot of these kinds of tools.
Totally.
So to your point, AI is here. It is not forthcoming. She is with us. Welcome to AI, our loving overlord. So all that to say, given that it is becoming an increasingly crowded space, we've all bought CRMs, we've all bought email automations, a lot of us have bought call intelligence software. I don't think any of us have a buying process in place necessarily for this kind of software. So I know you're selling a software here. Feel free to stack the deck as much as you care. But what kinds of things should we be thinking about from a buying perspective as we're looking across all of these different softwares that are available?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, not that any other question wasn't good, but like I've never received that question before. Yeah. I've never received that question. So true. When we talk to different companies, we are seeing a few things. One, there is a leadership mandate for AI. And so a lot of enablement folks I know will come to conferences like these or will seek out AI tools just to understand what's on the market. The second is like you may have a consideration of an LMS or a CMS that has role plays versus Yoodli. And so my response to that is those are sort of subsidiary functionalities as part of an LMS or CRM. They're not going to be focusing on role plays. In my opinion, my goal is to build the best role play product that scales across all different use cases. And so I believe that it's better than the ones integrated in different LMSs and CRMs, and it will cost more. So it's up to you. Like, do you want to spend a little bit more to get at least a 10 to 15% productivity and revenue increase from your sellers, or would you rather use what's inbuilt into an LMS or CRM? So that's second, which is that question to consider, like how important is it to you? Because we get that objection a lot, and I totally understand. Tool fatigue, I mentioned, is something we deal with. And then the third is like, I love this, we've got budget, we've got business consideration, there's a use case, but then there's this like procurement, security situation going on and I don't know how to deal with it. Yeah, that's really tough from our standpoint too. Like we've had to essentially work with procurement organizations to figure out like, what is the Gen AI review process like? So my other recommendation is for any AI tools you're considering, form a relationship with your procurement and privacy and security people ASAP so you can start to understand what are the steps and processes to get any tool through your organization, especially if you have a compelling event like a SCO or like a certification coming up and you need that tool ASAP. Does that answer your question? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, just to kind of add on that, like we kind of went through the process of how to buy AI just about a month ago. So we created this like center of excellence for AI within our entire organization, and it's run by our InfoSec team. And so they kind of went through and decided what we can and cannot do. And then now what we're in the process of with senior leadership is going through our sales process and our buyer journey and figuring out where we can layer AI with the existing tools that we have, because I don't think it makes sense for us to like buy anything necessarily without maximizing what we already have. But then with tools like this where you can add in, we have GOM and we have things like that. I don't know, kind of like doing the foundational research of like the InfoSec team and then like understanding where it fits into your sales process and buyer journey. I think was like a huge part for us, because now we're at a point where we can evaluate different softwares where if we didn't do that, we'd get on these demos and do all these things and then be like, oh wait, now I gotta go from this to Scott Edwards in the UK to,
Yeah.
a different time and a different, it's difficult, but that's a little piece of what we've done.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yes.
Our use case is more around, like we will have a channel partner that is selling and they have 1,000 products to sell, so it's a lot around like product, right? We educate them on vertical, sub-vertical, how our product works. You have your rubrics, which is like, sales stops along the way. Have you seen any of your partners use it or training to get partners that are kind of ancillary up to speed on whether it's happening more specific?
Yeah. We are rolling out partner enablement on Yoodli with a couple of our partners, Google being one of them. We're rolling out with their 1,000 partners. And so it is possible to do that and for us to work with the organization in like a reseller way, which is like a retraining way, get them to train their partners using Yoodli, which means that like you all become experts on the tool and you become self-sufficient, which is our goal as we work with folks so that they can build these role plays independent of us. I would say the short answer is yes. We've got some functionality where you can screen share and the AI will respond to what's seeing on the screen and ask respective questions. So for folks doing product demos, for sellers running through discovery decks, even for like people doing presentations with slides, there is an opportunity to have the AI give you feedback on that and to have a couple elements of rubric around like, did the demo cover this part? it's not going to do something like, at 3 minutes you clicked on this button and you shouldn't have. Like, we don't have a call script for demos per se, not yet at least, but it does sort of broaden the type of feedback around general demos or around general product enablement. Yes?
So can this tool also be used as like a certification process for that? Like you are feeding a situation, a scenario where people, the rest have to present and do something, but you don't want to show them the rubric right away, but send to the leader or some backend team, analyze if the person is ready to a certain level, and then provide them like a development feedback and also give them certification status level of the
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for that. So we've got something called programs here, which you can think of it like if you have an LMS, you might do this there. If you don't have an LMS, or if you don't have as advanced of an LMS, you might do this here. And a program is a learning path of different role plays, and at the end, you can get a certification once you go through that path and once you hit the completion criteria that's set up by enablement. So for example, and I know we're out of time here, so I'm just going to quickly do this. I've got one called Yoodli SCO 2025. We just went through SCO, and as part of this, we had a few different role plays, and there were 2 role plays, one on a pitch competition and one on a cold call to an enablement leader. And as part of that, we've got some information, not just on adoption, right, like that's table stakes, but also on general performance and improvement. You're seeing here like the folks who their first score versus their max score, so where they struggled, where they succeeded, and then you can see like, as of right now, 22% have gotten that certification and finished this out. So yeah, we can do more around this, and happy to chat with you more about it.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Esha. That was
Thank you.
awesome.